Hello and welcome to another edition of Fourth and Goal. It's week 5 of the Pennsylvania high school football season. We're here to break down everything going on in the Mid-Penn Conference, bring you some of the game's biggest names, maybe have a few laughs along the way. I'm your host, Jake Adams. I'm here along with Andy Shay, as always. Andy, my Temple Owls, they're 2-1 right now, which we can't say very often. They're led by Kurt Warner's son, EJ. They're heading out to play number 20 Miami. Do I have any hope for an upset? And hello, by the way.
Hey Jake, how are you? Tell your Temple House to enjoy the road trip to Miami.
That's it. That's all they're gonna get.
That's all I'm going to
Just the road
say.
trip.
Enjoy the road trip to Miami. It's beautiful down there. Nice stadium.
Probably about the best I could hope for. I don't think this is
Yeah,
going to be
I just
a
don't. I
pretty
don't
game.
think. I don't think against Miami's defense. I don't know if they can score enough points to keep up in the game. That's the rubber meets the road for that one.
I'll keep my fingers crossed, but I think you're right there. Well, we're not going to sit here and talk about my woebegone Temple Owls here all day. Andy, you and I have got a bunch of stuff to talk about this week. We're 1 week into the conference, into the division play. We didn't get a chance to talk about this division a whole lot last week, but I want to start today's show with talking about the Mid-Penn Liberty. A bunch of
Sure.
former Tri-Valley teams, obviously, so they're still they're no longer new to the Mid-Penn, we can say, but like they're still
No.
kind of like that other division sometimes it's forgotten, and I don't want to forget them this week. We have 3 1-0 teams. There's a team out there that hasn't played a division game yet because they have an odd number of teams, and there's a bunch of 0-1s. Those 3-0 teams right now, Junior is coming off a 33-6 win over Newport. They have the division's best receiver in Jasper Sheps. He's got 600 yards and 6 TDs. Upper Dolphins nearly doubled up Sesquinita last week, and they have a really impressive run game, averaging almost 200 yards a game, and more than 6 yards a carry. And then there's Halifax there, who moved to 3-1 and 1-0 in the division. They blew out James Buchanan, which like James Buchanan's had a rough go for several years, so you can't read too much into that win. But do you have any early thoughts right now on those three, leaders? I don't necessarily think front runners or favorites is the right name, but any thoughts on those guys, or is there another team that's 0-1 or 0-0 that maybe really should be watching
There's
out for?
not. There's not an 0-1 team. There's Lime Mountain zero is hasn't played a Liberty Division game yet. So I really think you have to look at them as I still look at them as a front runner. They might be 2-2 overall, but they played a really tough non-conference schedule, and they
Yeah,
beat Middletown last week. Which Middletown is they're not a very good football team, but they have big bodies, right? Like they're a bigger football team. So
yeah.
Lime Mountain has a ton of experience back. They have a dual threat at quarterback. I still think you have to look at them as possibly team to beat. But what I struggle with when I think of the Liberty is, can you see a team rolling through the division undefeated? Because I think that's
I'm
what's
not
gonna
sure.
it's gonna take. Yeah. See, I think if you're gonna have a solo champion and not the mid-pen co-champion scenario where there's no tiebreakers, if you're gonna have an outright champion, I think it's gonna have to be an undefeated team, and I just can't tell yet if there is an undefeated team out there. And the
Yeah.
results last week helped a little bit, but I still think there's a little Wild West to come in this division. But I'm still hitching my trailer to Lime Mountain.
And I think it's a little bit unfair for us sometimes to try and make early projections, or a little tough for us to make early projections on them because they play so many of their non-conference games early in the season that are like way out of the way for
Yep.
our normal coverage, or for where you and I, quote unquote, grew up covering, like the central mid-Penn area. So we don't know some of these teams that they face in weeks 1 through 3 as well, but they do sprinkle in some mid-Penn teams. But yeah, I think Lime Mountain
Right.
is a good pick to watch here. Like they've got a decent running game. They got 3 guys already over 100 yards this season. Bomber, sorry, is leading that pack right now. They kind of spread the wealth on offense, it seems. So, yeah, I think, that's definitely a solid choice on your end.
I
Um,
think they have the best defense in the conference, in the
which,
division. That's
eh,
what I think. I think their defense will be the difference maker more than anything else.
and that's such an identity of that division, and like
Yep.
the former TVL, which almost all of them are part of. You saw so many teams over the last decade or more. At least this is the era that I at least know that you saw a team that could average allowing 10 points per game or less, and that was a team that was going to win. Like that division plays really stout defense for a bunch of
Right.
small schools, and yeah, that's true. Back out to the rest of the conference, we've seen almost everyone play a division game now. We're going to see
Yep.
finally everyone's going to get on that page this week. What or who stood out so far through week one of division play?
So yeah, so I'll start with the Commonwealth. The gap between the haves and the have-nots, it's like falling off a cliff. And we kind of knew that, but now it's clearly apparent. Harrisburg State College in 3 and Central Dauphin, those are the 3 halves. We were pretty sure that those were the 3 halves.
Mhm.
They combined to win last week by a score of 144-21. So they played sort of some of the have-nots. Doesn't matter. These are all 3 of the halves. None of the games were competitive.
Yeah.
So I think it's those 3 teams and then a clip. So, and I think the gap between the have and have-nots is going to continue in that division, and it's just going to be those 3 teams slobber knocking each other to figure it out.
And I just want to interject for a minute too to say, like, I think we've touched on this before, is Central Dauphin being in that conversation. A month ago, we weren't saying that. We were like, yeah, they're going to be a better team. We don't know how much
Right.
better, but now
I
suddenly,
agree.
like, shoot, they could win this division. I still don't think that they're the favorite over the other 2, but they've impressed us all the way through so far. I can't rule them out anymore. This is a hell of a turnaround for them so far.
Yeah, they've earned the right. They've earned the right to be part of the conversation.
100%.
They weren't. They couldn't have been part of the conversation when the season started. You're 100% right. Another thing that grabbed me, Wyomissing did more to hurt Trinity than beat them by a point the week
Yes.
before. I mean,
Physically.
Yeah, I think you play Wyomissing. There's a toll it takes. It's 48 minutes, and then one of the big concerns is, do they beat you up twice? And in no way, shape, or form were the T-Rocks ready for what West Perry brought to the table at Caldwell Field Friday night. They just weren't ready for it. And Messiah Mickens is playing essentially on one wheel right now. That's a factor. Does it take anything away from what West Perry did to hold on and win that game? No. If he's healthy, might it look different? Possibly. But might it not? Because I still hang on this one. They weren't ready. They simply, and that's not a coaching thing. That's not like, that's not Jordan's responsibility to coaching staff. When the players stepped on the field, they couldn't find the snooze button to turn it off and get back to being a little bit of an aggressive mayhem team. So West Perry had a lot to do with that, because believe it or not, Jake, West Perry took the air out of the ball. I'm not joking. West Perry literally took the air out of the football, and I'm like,
I saw those stats last week, and I was like, are you kidding?
No, they did it. They executed it too. Maybe they were counting on a little bit of the Wyomissing taking it out of them, but they literally took the air out of the football, which was that was impressive. And my last one,
we saw Marcus Quaker throw for that few yards, like, just
correct.
amazing.
They just inside it. They inside out of them. They would run inside. They stayed committed to it, and then they would sneak him sort of behind those linemen and kind of read option down the line. Then he just finds a little seam, and he is not quote unquote. Everyone will say he's fast. I would say he's stupid quick. Like, that's what, there's a difference. And he's not just football stupid quick. He's really quick. Inherently. And it just, Trinity was too slow to adjust. And the other one I'll say before, let's ask me a couple more things. Our East Pennsboro and Greencastle Antrim, they're both 4-0, Jake. Are they for real? I'll just say, I think the Panthers might be the real deal. I'm still not 100% convinced, but they're going to play this week, and both of them are 4-0. Who saw that coming? Both of them navigated the first week of division play. Good for them.
Yeah, 100%. And we've got a guest coming on here in a second. Hershey's running back and linebacker Angel Cabrera, heading into Cocoa Bean Bowl week, which is a big one, obviously.
Yeah.
Andy, I want to ask you real quick, just to have some fun with this. Go back through your data banks here of football players you've covered over the years. Who are the 5 biggest, strongest, fastest, most powerful running backs? Because Cabrera is a big dude, that you've covered in the mid-state over the years.
So you're asking for big dudes. So I'm not going to. The best running back obviously was Sean McCoy. Shady was the best. That's established. But Shady wasn't a big dude. But Shady ran hard. But he doesn't fit the category you're talking about. So I've got a few for you. John Ritchie, Cumberland Valley. Musa Smith, West Perry. big human being, went to Georgia. Cameron Artis Payne from Harrisburg.
Mhm.
If you ever wonder, ask the 2007 Pittsburgh Central Catholic defense, which is still one of the better defenses I've seen in a long time in this state. That guy ran 30 times and they knew he had slammed in them. This one's probably not many people know. Anthony Cleary went to Chambersburg, played kind of fullback, running back, and ended up at Penn State. Oh my gosh, as a high school player, he was like he was frightening when players. It was a different era and they played differently, and he still made you make career choices. He was that big and strong. And the last one, it was tough. It was a couple of Harrisburg guys. I'm gonna go Michael Simpson from Harrisburg. That guy, man, he was the combination of both, but he was big too. He was like really tall, big, and just long and strong. And he had a big frame and a long frame, and he could run in between the tackles, but then he could bounce outside and just run by everybody with ease. So those are the five guys I would give you.
I love that list. It also speaks quite a bit to like just how football has changed so much that so many of those names are like 10, 15, 20, 30, almost 30 years old, like especially John Ritchie's case. Like that's a
John
guy
Ritchie's
that watched him as a kid.
1992,
Yeah.
92. Musa
Oh,
Smith, 1999.
love the list, but we've got our modern day big back here. We're gonna bring Cabrera on here in a minute. We'll ask him some questions. Okay, it's Cocoa Bean Bowl week, one of the best rivalry games in Pennsylvania for no other reason than the name alone, because you really can't go wrong with anything that mentions chocolate or cocoa beans or anything like that. It's just very unique. So we've decided to dip into Chocolate Town, USA this week for our 4-minute drill with one of the best players of the game that we'll be watching. There are a lot of other people will be watching. He's exploded onto the scene as a running back this year with 78 carries, 465 yards, 8 touchdowns for the resurgent Hershey Trojans, who are 3-1 going into this game, one of their best starts in quite a long time. He's already known for being a good linebacker. He's a 230-pound dude who brings a lot of pain and power to both positions, both sides of the ball. Angel Cabrera, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? Are you excited for this week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for having me, and I'm really pumped up for this week for the Cocoa Bean game.
Yeah, yeah. This is the second time. I want to get to the Cocoa Bean Bowl game in a second, and Andy and I will probably have a couple questions regarding that. But this is just the second time in about a decade that Hershey's 3-1 or has 3 wins at this stage of the season. You're heading into this big rivalry game, probably the one that you guys like the one you circle every year. Beyond the stereotypical team chemistry answer, what's the reason behind this fast start for this team in your mind?
Uh, Me and our senior class, like we talked about it, and everybody had an answer, and a lot of them said we want to be different. And every game, every practice, we have a chip on our shoulder to work hard and be a different Hershey team, senior class, as like the others that have passed by. And yeah, we just like to have a chip on our shoulder and like go attack every week the hardest and work harder and like make everybody better around us.
Hey, let me jump in, Angel. First of all, congratulations on the fast start for you.
Thank you.
Still a solid start for Hershey, but you lost to Cedar Cliff last Thursday. Good football game. Their defense made crucial plays at key moments, right? That's probably the biggest difference. And that's going to happen. But for you got to learn from a loss, right? Like, okay, wins feel good, but losses actually teach you something. What is your takeaway that stuck with you from that Cedar Cliff game that will be important for you guys, and you, in your estimation, will be very important for you guys moving forward?
For me, I learned that every game's not going to be a good game. I learned that I got to battle through when they have a lot of guys in the box, that I got to fight through and get extra yards and to never give up. Because Cedar Cliff, like, they're a great team. They always have size every year, and they're a very good football team.
Yep.
So I respect them a lot. But from definitely that game, I learned that every game is not going to be a good game, that I just got to keep my head up and battle through whatever their defense scheme is.
Can I keep going, Jake?
Yeah, take it.
All right, dude, I love the counter tray. I love the counter tray action you guys roll with. for me, it's sort of like it still fits in the modern game. I don't get it, it's coming back, right? You see colleges now using it, and the NFL players starting to go, hey, we got these really stupid athletic linemen. Maybe we should get him in out on the move instead of just zone blocking him all the time. But anyway, you guys roll with a really good counter tray. What in your to me the key of a good counter trait, you have to be patient as a running back. That's just my observation. But what are some of the keys you look for when those two big horses pull out from the other side or behind you, and you guys run those off tackle beauties? What are you looking for? Or what are some of the things that are keys for you being the running back and in what is a bread and butter, what I think is a bread and butter play for you guys?
That's actually one of my favorite plays. I like because that's like one of our biggest gainers in every game. I like correct, yeah. I like to stay patient because that play, the holes are not gonna open up very fast. So
Right.
when I get the handoff, I keep my shoulder square to see the cut back or keep going straight or going uphill. And yeah, I like that play is very crucial for us because that gains a lot of yards. I think we're averaging like almost 10 yards per carry in those plays.
Yeah, and you guys go equal left and right. You know, it's
Yeah.
not like I'm sure you know inside, and I'm not going to ask you which side of the line performs it better, but you guys run it equally. You guys will go both left and right with the counter tray on a consistent basis.
So we like to mix our plays up and going from left to right or right to left, try to confuse them.
Do you think that counter tray and you guys, I also know you guys like to do a lot of inside trapping, but the counter tray in particular, do you think that kind of messes with defenses? I'm just asking from your perspective because it's a really hard play to slow down unless you do something special to prepare for it.
I think it definitely does like slow defense down because when we have a lot of like plays that are kind of like the same lineup, but
Right.
I think when we hit them with the counter tray, I think it definitely slows them down and they think that it's going to be another one or like we just throw a pass or like an inside run instead of going outside the tackle.
I would just want to say, and this isn't a question, but you can do it with athletic linemen that don't particularly have great size. But I'm just going to say for the record, Hershey has some big horses that they pull out when they use the counter tray. I'm just going to say that they're not small lads. I'm just saying that they
Yeah,
are big boys.
we got big guys. Tucker
Yes,
Velocity,
you do.
yeah, and Isaiah Danner and Corey Schaefer. Those are big guys.
They are large human beings. All right. Thanks, Dave. Go ahead. You can ask a couple more.
You gave me a good segue there though too, because I wanted to ask Angel. Obviously, 6 foot 230 is a great size for a high school linebacker, but for a running back, that's a big boy there. Is there a running back out there that any level of the game that you watch that you like to compare your running style to?
Fun fact: my sophomore year, me and coach, his name is Coach Garner. He coaches for Middletown now, but me and him were close. We had a close relationship, and I always talk running game with him. And he said that I like to run like what's the name? I forgot his name. Running back.
Who's he play for?
The Titans.
Derrick Henry?
Yeah, Derrick Henry. Yeah, he said because I like to run high, and he said
You
I like.
do run high. Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, and I take that as a compliment, honestly, because he's a dog. So, but yeah, I've been trying to work on like my pad level when I go through holes and like run.
I want to take it off the football field for just a second here. And a little bit more as a human being, not just a football player. Is there a unique hobby or interest that you have that most people don't know about that maybe would kind of surprise them a little bit?
I'm starting to read like motivational books now, and as a person, I do not like to read honestly, but I'm starting to read the book "Can't Hurt Me" by David Goggins, and I don't know if you guys heard of David Goggins, but he's a very inspirational guy, and I think he's helping me through the season because his book is definitely like making me read more of his book, and like it's giving me humbleness and like inspiration to just keep going for football and my other things that I do.
All right,
Gotcha.
Angel,
Cool.
we're going to put you on the hot seat here in a minute. But first, I want to ask one more question before we get out. You also play linebacker, been a 3-year linebacker for the Trojans. The biggest challenge the Milton Hershey Spartans are going to present to your defense as you get ready for the Bean Bowl, what is it?
The biggest challenge for us?
The biggest challenge that their offense is going to present to your defense.
One of my closest friend, I like to talk to him a lot. Michael Bleedy, number 18.
Yep.
I have a very close relationship kind of with him. And last year, me and him were going at it in the Cocoa Bean. Like sometimes I make big plays off his side. Sometimes he used to stop me, I'll admit. But I think he's going to be one of the problems.
Okay. Cool.
So
All
you
right.
willing
Let's
to put,
put.
I was
Go ahead.
sorry. I was gonna say, are you willing to put a little bit of cannon fodder out there? You guys are the defending champs in this bowl. Are you willing to make any claims or predictions about how this is gonna go this weekend?
Oh, he actually FaceTimed me 2 days ago, and he was all fired. He was like, "Bean week," and I was like, "You know, I'm gonna average 6 yards or more on your side still, and guess who has the bean still?" And I just put it on him. Me and him was
Oh,
around, but
I
yeah.
like won't hide from it either. That's great.
and if you don't think rivalry games matter, just listen to this. All right, Angel, let's put you on the hot seat. We're going to get some questions to get out. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Beach house or lake house? Which one?
Beach house.
A streaming series you are currently watching or something that you watched recently?
Something I watched recently.
What was it?
Um,
Do you
I
remember?
watched, nah, I haven't watched it. Like I haven't watched the show recently, but it's it's actually a football movie about, I could describe it, but I forgot the name of it. It's about a guy that he became he was a third string lineman, and he started praying to God. And after that, the coach gave him a chance on one game, and he absolutely popped off. I gotta get the name
Sweet.
of that movie, but yeah, that was the most recent one I've watched.
Give me another team in the Mid-Penn Conference whose uniform combination catches your eye. Whose uniforms do you like?
Honestly, man, Hershey's.
Milton Hershey. All right.
Yeah, I like their all brown jerseys. They're all
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. All right. Last question, then we'll let you go. Sheets. And you can give me as much detail or as little detail as you like. What is your go-to order when you go to Sheets?
It doesn't matter the time of day. I like to get a breakfast sandwich with a large strawberry smoothie. That's what I like.
What's on your breakfast sandwich?
Eggs and bacon and American cheese. White cheese.
All right.
Dude.
All right. That'll do it, Jake.
Simple. Angel, thanks for your time for Andy and I here today, and good luck, not just in this week's game, but also the rest of the season. We're looking forward to continuing to watch, Hershey's run this year.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you for having me.
Thanks again to Angel Cabrera for the time. We're going to wrap up with a couple of quick questions here leading into week 5. I'm going to start here still with the Chocolate Town game. Andy, favorite candy that you got? It could be anything Hershey's related or non-Hershey's related. What's your favorite candy?
That's not Hershey's. But I like a good Hershey bar. It's a multi-layer answer, Jake. My all-time favorite is a Snickers bar. But my layer to my favorite candy is, so on vacation, I always buy a big bag of peanut M&Ms and put them in the freezer so you can just snack on them. That's like a vacation treat snack. But also, since about 1990, every flight I've ever taken, I always buy peanut M&Ms and eat them on the flight. That's just a superstition now. So it's 2 layers.
Mine is I like Snickers. I like peanut M&Ms a lot too. That's actually a good one. I'm blanking on it right now, and I can't believe I'm putting myself into this awkward situation. But it's caramel and nougat, and it's like really sticks in your teeth. And I'm blanking on what the name of it is all of a
Baby
sudden.
Ruth,
No.
Milky Way.
We'll skip by it. We'll skip by it because I just
All
made
right.
this really awkward edit for Adam. Uh, this week we've got the Cocoa Bean Bowl as we've established. We've also got State College Central Dauphin, which we talked about that division a minute ago. McDevitt Cedar Cliff play, which if there's gonna be a team that's gonna upset McDevitt, maybe it's Cedar Cliff this year. And then Steel High Big Spring question mark after
Maybe.
that pretty big win by the Bulldogs this past week. Which game has the most juice for you? Or am I missing one that I didn't name?
So I think you might be missing one, but State College versus Central Dauphin. The Rams are rising, right? They are. They're clearly rising. And I think the Little Lions, they're finding their way, right? They've already sleepwalked through a half against a quality team that was Downingtown East, and they lost despite a late fury. So they're a couple of one-loss teams. State College overall, top to bottom, is better, but CD's already taken down a big fish in Coatesville, right? CD replicates that kind of effort. Rams are going to win. That was just freaking impressive that they made Coatesville, which has some ballers, and they made that team look like that looks like Tarzan, play like Jane. So, yeah, I think that's the best of the marquee. I don't think Cedar Cliff's going to be competitive with McDevitt. I don't know if Big Spring can keep up with Steel High. I'm just going to say that.
Any other final thoughts before week 5 starts?
Yeah, my sleeper this week is East Penn and Greencastle. They're both 4-0, 1-0 in the Colonial. The Panthers are feeling it. They're feeling it. The Blue Devils stay comfortably inside the box, Jake, and they don't get rattled. Here it is. East Pennsboro averages 35.3 points a game. Greencastle surrendered 51 points all season. What happens?
Something's got to give, as they say. Not us, though. Not us. We never give up. We never surrender. That's it for us this week. We hope everyone is starting to unpack their jackets, their long johns, their blankets. Bring some extra cash with you for the hot chocolate at the concession stands. It is now fall weather. It is football weather. For Andy Shay, the Fourth Down Magazine team, which, by the way, go check out the website, fourthdownmagazine.com, if you want all your coverage for Mid-Penn and even some of the Colonial Schuylkill teams. I'm Jake Adams here for that team. We hope you enjoy the week 5 games out there. Go Owls. See you next week.
See ya.